Good evening. Welcome to the October meeting of the Development Review Board for the town of Richmond. And there's Roger. Good timing. Sorry.
No, it's good.
The house guests. Recorded, Roger. They might be watching. Careful.
We'll cut that out. Don't worry.
It's all right.
Wondering if your excuse to leave was. Okay, welcome. There's a sign up sheet for those in attendance here. Please sign up. For those who are listening, if you want to become what's called an interested party, you will need to either give evidence or submit evidence in writing on the application. And that would allow you to possibly qualify as what's called an interested party under the laws. So we have one hearing on the agenda tonight. It's application SUB 2023-13, Hillview Heights LLC. They are seeking final subdivision approval for a 7-lot subdivision, proposing 6 new single-family residential lots, 1 existing residential lot, on 85 acres. So in the normal course of things, we'll hear from the applicant, and then I'll hear from let the board comment if they have any questions or comments, and then we'll turn to the public. So if you're in the public, we'll get to you. So welcome. Why don't you introduce yourselves and tell us what you have in mind here.
Sure. Peter Garshow, Cross Consulting Engineers. With me is Nick Bowen for my office. And what we plan to do is go through the changes from the preliminary. So we'll address the comments and requests from the board
Okay,
on the revisions, and then we'll go from there and open it up to the board.
good. If you need anything up on the screen, Tyler can put that up for you.
All right, did you want to swear us in?
Yes, I do. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. All
Go
right,
for it.
so,
Would you guys like anything up or no?
if you want to throw up C1,
Sure.
the master plan,
Sure. Hang on a second here.
it should be down towards the bottom of the list, item, yeah, right there, L.
Okay, hang on a second here.
So our application is largely the same as when we came in for preliminary. All site features have remained the same. What was requested in the preliminary approval was underground utilities. We've since worked with Green Mountain Power and provided underground utilities to all lots. This involves transformers and primaries along the road, and then secondary services to each house site. Also requested was an agreement between lots 1 and 2, which have a shared drive. That's been provided and included in the declaration of covenants for the HOA, which was the 3rd item requested. But other than those 3 items, all material submitted is largely the same that you received during preliminary. So that is the changes.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it?
That's
Okay.
it.
So there were a number of comments on various parts by exhibits submitted to us. So why don't we try to hit on some of those? One being the fact that the road does not end in a hammerhead or cul-de-sac.
So the road does end in a hammerhead. The hammerhead has been provided on lot 7, which is the remaining land.
Which is right here. And these are basically just driveways coming off of that, right?
Correct, yeah.
So it meets the road standards to here, and then from here, it's driveway, right?
correct.
Okay, so the one I'm looking at, the plat. Isn't showing that. Isn't showing that there.
Yeah, this is on the site plan.
So the site plan shows the roads and driveways, the plat shows the right of way.
I see, okay.
If you want something, David, this is the full size, you can see it a little bit
Okay,
better.
thank you.
C5, I think it would look at. That's like that's zoomed in of that section.
And I have more hard copies if anybody would like one.
Am I right about that? C5.
I believe so.
Yeah.
From memory, yeah.
Okay. And why don't you tell us about site distance for lot one?
Yep, so that was site distance is shown for lot 1 and 2 on EX3. We're showing 250 feet of site distance, which is the stopping site distance, as well as an advanced warning sign on Hillview Road coming from the easterly side. So V-Trans B71 only requires an advanced warning sign if you have less than the required stopping site distance. We're providing this required stopping site distance and an advanced warning sign. And that 250 feet is provided with 900 square feet of brush and tree clearing.
And who will maintain that?
So that's going to be on the homeowners to maintain that.
Okay, and is that in your declarations?
Um,
I didn't see it. I'm just wondering if I missed it.
Yeah, I would imagine.
that
Not sure if it was that. Not the road sign. But it can be added.
it can be added.
Yeah, I mean, what we have found in past applications is that sometimes the applicant is very willing to do what's necessary, but then there's no ability to follow up.
Mhm.
So perhaps you could add that into
It can be added into
with the declarations
Yeah.
or
similar to the
put it on your plan somewhere.
maintenance of the stormwater systems.
Right.
Yeah.
Anything from the board?
Was there an issue last time? And I don't remember. Is there an issue about the stormwater management on lot one? Was that resolved?
I believe there's some questions about where the water runoff was going, but I believe
Right.
that was all resolved.
That was resolved. Can I see that on the site plan review?
Yeah, the best one to view that is gonna be,
Yeah, I have it in front of me.
It's in its own attachment, Nick,
no, it's gonna be in your
on that.
that same one. I'm just gonna find the best sheet to look at it.
C3?
C3 is a good one. It's detailed on
One.
C14.
Sorry, I'm just trying to. I got too much stuff up here. It's hard for me to see.
Tell me about it.
All right, there it is. Seat down.
Uh,
12. 13.
there you go, Tyler.
Was that it?
Okay, yep, there we go. Hang on a minute. Let me just rejigger this here, Roger.
Okay.
Can you see that all right? I know there's a bunch of stuff on here, but can you see that all right?
I think so, yeah. So just explain it a little bit to me.
Tyler, up one sheet. This sheet here.
Okay, hang on a minute.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I really need two monitors to do this right. I'm just kind of jiggering everything around here.
So this system in particular is an infiltration basin. So grass swales convey runoff to this basin, which is essentially just a grass
Okay, so
basin.
you created a basin here, basically.
Yeah,
And that total basin's totally on lot one?
totally on lot one.
So will lot one be given, will there be something in the deed saying that they have responsibility for maintaining that?
The entire HOA will have responsibility over that, and that is in the covenants.
So that'll be maintained. How is it how is it monitored? How is the maintenance of something like that monitored? I mean, how do you know when it needs maintenance? And-
The state requires annual inspections to be done.
Okay.
And then every 5 years, an engineer needs to go in and
I
certify it.
I didn't read it in the covenants. I'm sure it's there and I didn't see it, but what does it say in the covenants about the requirements of the homeowners association with respect to that? Is there anything specific?
To that basin. So the covenants refers to maintaining the system. And then that then goes to the stormwater permit and the plans that outline the actual steps that need to be
Maybe you
taken.
can tell me where to find that in the covenants and I can have a quick look.
So in the covenants that where it says,
Let me get to the covenants, I'm sorry.
403.
I gotta find them.
I believe it's page 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Is it Articles of Association PDF?
No, it's the next one down.
HOA, got it.
Yeah, the Hillview
So-
Heights covenants are, tell me the page.
So page 3, and it's paragraph B.
Right, I'm sorry, the part with what?
Paragraph B, it's Article 3, paragraph
Paragraph B, I see it.
B.
I got it on the screen too.
All right, so it refers to the stormwater and the stormwater improvements.
Yeah, and then the state stormwater permit then requires certain maintenance to the system and
Okay, it conforms to the state of Vermont and town permits.
the plans outline what that maintenance is as well.
And who does that yearly annual maintenance?
The HOA can either hire an engineer to basically tell them what needs to be done, but it's all on the HOA to pay for what needs to be done. The annual inspections don't need an engineer's report, but the 5-year reinstatement does.
And do the annual inspections result in a report to somebody,
To the state,
to the state?
Yeah.
But of course, state has no enforcement on that.
they do.
They do, they actually do?
Well, you can't ever renew a permit if you're not up to date on your
I see.
inspections, yeah.
That's where they get you.
I'll do another question.
I'm gonna switch back and yes.
On this side.
If there's another question.
Can you talk about, I know you talked about this a little bit last time, but just so everybody is refreshed about it, the trip ends.
Mhm.
That's been an ongoing concern, I think, that when the traffic study was done and was it relevant because of COVID and then.
So the traffic study is based on averages and known values for the use. It doesn't have any bearing on the year it was done. So that's how the numbers are come up with.
And then the observational part of that, was it there something done at the end of Hill, like? And maybe I'm misremembering this, but I vaguely remember there had been a traffic study. Like an on-site car counting that happened at some point, and that was used as a basis, but there was concern that since that was done during COVID, maybe that was.
So that was based on V-Trans averages, I think, not on Hillview Road, but is it Huntington Road?
Yeah.
That's what that study, the V-Trans averages on that road, that's what that was referring to.
Just related to that, does the trip end study include the future house on the remaining land?
Yes.
And what's being done with that original house?
Oh, are you referring to the abandoned house?
Yes.
That's gonna remain abandoned.
So why do some comments that we've gotten say that improvements are being made to it?
As far as we're been told, that house is remaining abandoned. I mean, improvements to it do not make it habitable. It has no water or sewer to it and
Right, I'm just
Yeah,
wondering why
so-
improvements would be made to an abandoned house.
Could be security, could be aesthetics.
While we're on the subject of that house, that's in a large lot, 185, and one of the things that's raised not only in this matter, but in other matters, is how the master plan is addressed with respect to the remaining land, the 85 acres are left over, and I can't find it because I know it's somewhere in what you submitted. It states that that lot will be dedicated to agriculture and residential.
Mhm.
So the only residential, as far as I know, on that is the abandoned house. Is there another house on that?
there's a
lot?
proposed house site.
A proposed house site.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a house site there.
Yeah.
All right, I should have.
That's the
See that.
proposed house site with wastewater and a drilled
All
well.
right, so that lot will support a house just like the rest of the lot,
Correct,
and that will be on that lot and that lot only.
correct,
So any further subdivision of that lot would have to come before us.
correct.
And the place that you stated, the use of this lot, can you tell me where that is? I know it's in here. Somewhere you've said that the purpose of that lot is for residential and agriculture, have you not?
It's right here. So it says lot 7, remainder single family home and agricultural
I saw it
activities.
somewhere, but that's, okay, good.
There is worth pointing out too, is if there is concern about the fact that if Avandas were to build their home on this property, that you would have two technically residences on one
Right,
lot,
well,
which wouldn't be allowed.
Like one out, obviously.
Yeah, that essentially would be only as if they tried to use that as a home. If it just sits there, it's not a home.
No, you've answered my question. I should have been able to answer myself because I didn't notice that there was a house site there. But that's fine. I'm satisfied with it.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Okay, then we'll open it to the public. Are there questions from the public? Either in person or on Zoom?
If anybody would like to raise their hand to be recognized, if you go down to the bottom of the screen where it says, gives you like the option to unmute, stop video, that sorts of things. There's a reactions button. It has a smiley face with a little plus sign at the top. If you click that, there's an option there to raise your hand. So if you would like to have your hand raised and be recognized by the board, please select that. And here I'll actually share my screen so people can see it again. So if you notice here on the bottom, oh, where did it go? And it went away on me. Okay,
It was there a minute ago.
it was there a second ago. All right, sorry, and maybe I lose it when I stop this year. So I apologize about that, but it is right next to that icon. So if anybody would like to have their hand raised, do that.
Or perhaps if I can't find that, just
Unmute
Unmute.
yourself and we'll go from there just to try and keep it orderly as best we can.
Okay, since we have a question here. Yes, sir.
Can you, is this okay in terms of the microphone for?
You would probably want to
Come forward.
come closer. So either sit there or just trying to think of the best way. Yeah, so that is a mic. So
Is that picking me up or?
yeah, MMC TV, can you hear Bradley okay?
Can you hear me okay? So it's on Zoom? Is that okay?
Can anybody on Zoom, can they hear Bradley?
Okay, I'll send you that.
Yes, we can hear, I can hear.
I'll send it over.
Thank you.
So Bradley Holtz, Hillview Road. So my comments this evening are really focused around the three topics: the master development plan question, wetland disturbances, and traffic and safety. So I just want to add a few notes, some short comments, to augment the more extensive comments in our October 2nd letter. So I just want to start with saying that the purpose of zoning is to bring about orderly development, and when applicants shield their clearly contemplated future development plans from review, it makes this impossible to achieve. When applicants present inconsistent information to different permitting authorities and in different permits, it undermines the aim of orderly development. And when landowners undertake construction on projects before receiving necessary approval, it compromises the ability of permitting authorities to conduct a proper review of the planned development activity. And all of this is arguably the case with the project before you. This application broadcasts the apparent intent of the applicant to further develop the land beyond what is described. There are utility lines and a transformer with no stated purpose along a road to nowhere. There's an additional well on the proposed.
Let me interrupt you. Where would that transformer be?
So if you look at that road to nowhere, the agricultural field drive.
Yep.
Along the left-hand side of that, you can see there's a utility, underground utility that goes there, and there's a transformer at the end of that utility.
Just trying to see if I can get a good one that shows that. There's that.
It's on the, see it on the main, on the overall site plan there.
Right.
T6.
Yeah, you're going to go up.
Transformer number. Field drive from there, there's a transformer.
There you go.
Yeah, there it is. Yep, you can see it there.
So what does the applicant have to respond? to
Yeah,
that?
the transformer's out there for power to the flower farm that's currently operating out there, so generators don't need to be run. We've talked with Green Mountain Power about this, and they're aware that's what it's for.
Shall I go on there?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. There's also an additional well on the proposed lot 7, a little bit sort of, I believe to the east of that field drive, with no stated purpose, in the application. You've discussed this a little bit. There's, actually 3 residences on the proposed lot 7. There's the new house site, the barn, which is going to have an apartment in it, and then the abandoned farmhouse. So that raises the question of potential for further subdivision plans, given that they couldn't have all 3 of those on one site. And then in the declaration of covenants and restrictions, they reserve the ability to further subdivide the lots, as well as the right to construct model residences, sales offices, and the right to erect signs advertising the community. The information contained in the application is seemingly inconsistent with what the applicant has submitted within other applications, plans, and notices. I'd ask the board to take a look at each iteration of the notice of intent to build a farm structure, and in particular, the actual location, size, form, and usage of the barn, which we believe has been built at this point. I'd ask the board to look at access permit number 2117 and zoning permit 2021-83, and consider if those permits are consistent with the plan before you, especially considering that the landowner has failed to demonstrate a good faith intent to commence upon the permitted use for almost 2 years. The landowner continues to push forward with development on this property, even before receiving the necessary approvals. Over 2 years ago, the landowner first built sections of the proposed road to serve lots 4 to 7 without a town permit or a state wetlands permit. Since then, the landowner has continued to build structures and infrastructure clearly related to the project. In recent months, we've witnessed a significant uptake in activity on the property. Then for the proposed lot 3 driveway, I'd really encourage Peter Grosso to take a look at, ask the board for more time to review his engineering diagrams within the applicant's state wetland permits, and consider if you'd like to amend his previous statements that the applicant's plan to widen the proposed lot 3 driveway to 12 feet is within the approved wetland buffer disturbances. Basic analysis of the partial wetland exhibit document included in the approval for the applicant's individual wetland permit demonstrates that the approved existing wetland buffer disturbance of 4,154 square feet along the 378-foot length of driveway within this existing wetland buffer disturbance could not possibly be more than 11 feet of permitted existing wetland buffer disturbances along the length of the driveway. These measurements in the map are quite simple and inarguable. Finally, as I outlined in our letter, I also have significant concern with traffic and safety. Most concerningly, the proposed lots 1 to 2 driveway does not meet the V-Trans B71 driveway standard by any measure. there's actually a required minimum intersection site distance, which is not met of 390 feet. The claim site distance, looking at the terrain in the area of 250 feet, it does not seem credible. And as you talked about, once that vegetation grows back, 18 inches or more, that site distance reduces to only 175 feet. So if that's not properly maintained, that becomes a serious safety issue in above and beyond what I've already described. So that's all I have for this evening, but I want to thank the board for your time.
Thank you. Any other comments? Any comments from Zoom people?
Again, it's the reactions button down at the bottom. Raise your hand, or if you can't get that, just unmute and say something, and the chair will recognize you at his leisure.
Okay, having heard none. Any further information or comments from the applicant?
Are there specific items that you'd want us to respond to there?
Not unless you want to.
They're the same comments from preliminary that we've kind of already gone over, so unless you'd like us to go over them again. We'll
I don't think we need that much repetition. Okay, what would the board like to do? What?
I'd
Go to deliberative session,
I move to go to deliberative session.
okay,
Second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
So we're gonna go into deliberative session. We've closed the evidentiary part of the hearing, and we have 45 days to make a decision. We'll try to be a little more prompt than that. And thank you very much.
nope, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and if anybody had problems with getting onto Zoom, MMC TV, this will be broadcasted online. So you'd be able to go back and rewatch it.
Over and over.
I often do sometimes. So we're still recording, guys, just so you know, so we can,
Thank you.
because we didn't formally motion to deliberative, to adjourn it yet, so.
I was just gonna say, is there anything else we need to deal with?
Nothing that we can't handle off air. There's nothing that's relevant to this.
So then let's close the hearing.
So whose motion is that?
I move
I
to
think that was
close.
Patrick's or Roger's guy.
Mine.
Patrick.
I'll own that one.
All right. Public portion of the meeting is now closed, guys.